for another episode of Tonya's Witchy Kitchen, Life with Spice. How are you all doing today? Not doing too bad. It's getting colder, which sucks. But then on the other end, I don't have chickens in the yard as much. They are being cooped up now at night, so that's good. And we got more goats, but we're not milking goats at the time, which is okay with me because I'm not milking goats. But yeah, whatever. Not much to chit chat about today. I don't know. So we'll get right to it. 3 things. Dream big, be true to you, and you are worth it. So today we are going to talk about rosemary. I actually planted some this year that it actually grew. I mean, I grew some one year and it just grew straight up, and that was it. It didn't do anything. But this year we had a couple of plants and they actually did pretty good. So it was exciting. And I did bring one in. I will show you a picture of it that I brought in, and hopefully it will survive the winter so it gets bigger next summer. But anyway, rosemary is part of the mint family. We've been doing that a lot lately, haven't we? We use the leaf and the flowers stripped from the branches. You can use it fresh or dried. It is, oh no, I forgot to look up some of these words. Antibacterial, antimicrobial, antifungal, antioxidant, antispasmodic, relieves cramps and spasms. It's a carminative, that's gas and pain, right? It's a cholagogue, which is bile flow. It's a circulatory stimulant to the blood and tissues. It's, this is the word, emmenagogue. I can't say it. Promotes menstruation. There you go. Should have just said that. It promotes menstruation. It's a nervine and a rubefacient. Circulation in the skin. I'm sorry. Anyway, rosemary is a very uplifting herb, and its uses are like all over the spectrum. It's a digestive, nerve, and circulatory tonic. It helps with stagnant congestion of the sinus and lungs. Use with ginger if you're going to do like a tea for that. Supports the liver. Helps with low energy, fatigue, low blood pressure, and poor circulation. Helps improve memory, gives courage, and lifts spirits. That's kind of important, I think. Relieves headaches, calms the nervous system. Excellent for colds and flus. There's studies on arthritis and Alzheimer's benefits. I thought that was really interesting. And it's great for hair. Yeah. It stimulates the scalp, helps with dandruff and shine. A vinegar hair rinse is really super easy to do. You just take, like we did with the marshmallow root. You just take a jar, you put your dried rosemary in there. You could probably use fresh because it's vinegar, either one. And just pour hot. With this one, you can pour hot vinegar, just the regular white vinegar, or apple cider, whatever you prefer, over the top and let it steep for 2 weeks. And then use that as a hair rinse on your hair. Cami McBride, I gotta quote her. It's hilarious. She says, make 4 cups of rosemary tea, okay, before your next bath. Drink 1 cup of tea and pour the other 3 over your head. And actually, rosemary is great for baths. It is. We'll get to that later. Externally, you can use a tincture or tea or the plant itself. Just rub it. If you have poor circulation areas, use either of those 3 and rub it on that area. If you have a weak heart, rub it on your chest area. A bath. So in the bath, we talked about the bath. It's a great diaphoretic, which means it supports the body's fever process. As a spice, it's an antioxidant in food, and it's 2-way preservative. So in store foods, they have found rosemary to be more effective than many of the common preservatives and additives added to food. The second is in the body, it limits cellular damage attributed with eating saturated fats when cooked at a high temperature. Are they alluding to French fries here? Because there are some things I will not take out of my diet. I love French fries. Okay. Sorry. Love French fries. Gotta have the fries. Okay. So in the tea, that is best in the fall and winter when it's because of the stimulating circulation. Like up here, you know, sometimes we're active, sometimes we're not. And it gets energy to your brain. And I think that's really important because sometimes our vitamin D levels drop so much during the winter months and we don't always get the sun that we need to, and this would really help. For foods, you can use it in marinades, sauces, salads, sprinkles, rice, on meat and fish, potatoes, potato salads. You can, I don't even know what I did with my other note. Vinegars, ghee, butters. Go back and look at the basil one. It's the same stuff, you guys. It's just add it. Soups, stews, okay? In pregnancy, food use is fine, totally fine. If you're using the essential oil, avoid it or dilute it very well, heavily dilute it. There are a small percentage of people who do have a skin allergy from rosemary. Okay, so if you're gonna do a rosemary bath, you can mix it with rosemary and ginger or juniper and lavender. Those work really well. As far as a vinegar bath goes, that's where you take the herbs and you steep them in apple cider vinegar. Health benefits. So you could take like rosemary and lavender, okay? Or rosemary and your ginger and juniper, okay? And then you steep it for 2 weeks in that bottle. You want to make a pretty big bottle, you know, like 32 ounces. And, you know, because it's vinegar. Instead of put the herbs in there, you know, shake it up every couple days. And the flies are alive, but nothing else is. And then you can use that like a cup at a time into your bath water. Doesn't take long. There's a hair conditioner, there's hair rinse, hair loss. There was a double-blind study done with 86 patients on hair loss. One group put essential oil of rosemary on their scalp daily. One had no essential oil, just a carrier oil. My problem with this double-blind study, I totally believe it's true, but you're going to notice, once you notice the rosemary essential oil in your hair versus just a carrier oil, I don't know, but that was my thought. But after, not that I'm dissing this, I'm not dissing this. I totally believe rosemary is great for hair and your scalp and all that. Okay, I just thought it was funny. 7 weeks after, almost 50% of the essential oil users improved their hair growth. Now, if you're going to do this and put essential oil in your hair, add a little castor oil to it. It's going to be a pain in the ass to get out. Like, you really have to wash that stuff up. Don't put a lot, but castor oil is great for hair growth also. Yeah, so just that. Okay, we are done with our notes. We are going to the kitchen. We are going to do focaccia bread. We are going to make a rosemary cordial. And we are going to do no, we're not going to do the hot oil treatment. I'm going to tell you about the hot oil treatment. You can also find toners and bath salts to do with rosemary. The hot oil treatment was really simple in the fact that it, all you did was you took a half a cup dried rosemary and a half a cup olive oil, or if you want, you can do a 1/4 cup olive oil and a 1/4 cup castor, but you're going to have to scrub that castor out, guys. Okay? But like I said, castor is great for hair. You want to steep it like warm it up on the stove, let it steep for 20 minutes. Steep, like, warm it, don't boil it, for about 20 minutes. Okay, then you strain it, pour it into a bottle, and you want to coat your hair, but get your scalp really good too. And you want to let it sit and then put it up into a shower cap. Let it set for about 20 minutes to a half hour. She says rinse with cool water and then shampoo. And I'm thinking that cool water isn't going to do anything to get that oil out of your hair. But maybe it's an easy process. I would personally just be careful doing this. If I did that, I'd jump in the shower right away and then wash my hair in there. Be careful though, because that oil, actually it's probably better to rinse your hair in the sink first or in the tub, because that oil will make your shower or bathtub very slippery. So be careful with that. But if you try it, let me know, because I'm really thinking about trying it one of these days when I have half an hour to sit around. Yeah, that'll be fun. But anyway, we are going to the kitchen. I'll see you there. Okay, into the Rosemary Cordial, or Cordial, depending on which way you want to say it. I have approximately, 0.42 ounces of fresh rosemary, which I'm going to just chop it up, so it soaks up the alcohol. And then, there it is. And then I have about 0.25 ounces of dried rosemary. Now, my problem with tinctures is that they give you this ratio, okay? So, like, let's say a fresh tincture is a 1-to-2 ratio. That means 1 part fresh herb and 2 parts of alcohol. But you're supposed to make sure that it's covered. And every time I do this, it's never covered, right? So I always top off, because they always say make sure that, your herbs are covered. And they're never covered. Okay, so I put the dry herbs in the jar and I just chop them up with the scissors. It's another way that you could do the fresh ones too. So it's about a half a jar. Okay, about a half a jar. And I am using gin because I don't have top shelf brandy. I forgot about the honey. You need I put a lot of honey in there. Whoopsie, I was supposed to put half that amount. 2 to 3 tablespoons. I was supposed to do half that amount. But, oh well, it's going to be extra sweet. A little bit more extra honey. It's fine. I added extra alcohol, so we're good. Yeah. My honey is thick, but it is so yummy. It is so yummy. Yep. I'm hoping we are able to harvest some honey this fall. We're waiting. My hives, I don't have to do them just yet. So you want a 40%, 80 proof or 40% alcohol content. I'm using my gin because I didn't want to use vodka. Ugh. I'm going to infuse something. I want something that's tasty. And I wasn't going to do Everclear because, oh my gosh, yeah. You could do Everclear, you could do vodka, you could do a brandy, I don't know. You could probably do a whiskey. I could have done black velvet. We have that too. That's for my elderberry syrup. Which I should start making my kids take. There's just so much to take. Been trying to get them to take magnesium, and that's been going okay. And if you have really liquid honey, it's going to dissolve really fast. But mine is a little thicker, so it took a little bit. Okay, and just to prep you for this, you want, being it's fresh, you're supposed to use fresh. I used half and half. You want to make sure that the herbs, the rosemary is totally covered by alcohol, okay? and then you're going to label it. You're going to put it in a dark place, and you're going to let it sit for 4 weeks, at least 4 weeks, okay? And then you're going to strain it in a clean glass container or a dropper bottle, right? Keep it away from the sun and the heat. And the dosage is 1 to 2 drops on the tongue or in a small amount of sparkling water or plain water if you just don't like taking it. You know, for a child, I would give them 1 drop. My boys are all bigger than me, so I would give them definitely 2. I just wanted to run by that really quick, like I'll probably say it again, but okay. Okay, so now my honey's all dissolved. Well, it's not all dissolved, but it's close. So I put 3 ounces of alcohol over this, and that is actually a little more than technically I was supposed to. A dry tincture is a 1-to-5 ratio, 75% alcohol, 25% water. I didn't do the water in this because I just did the gin. And being I had fresh plant matter, I did it 100% alcohol. And I know some of this, I understand what I'm saying, and you probably, hopefully you do understand, but tinctures are all about ratios. Old-fashioned tinctures are, it's, half a container, 1/4 to half a container of plant matter, and then topped off with alcohol to the top. Okay, now the specialized ratioing tinctures have ratios, and to get the exact same tincture over and over again. Okay, so there's no variation. That's what it's all about. Oh yeah, make sure you cover this with a plastic lid or wax paper in between. I do both because I swear my lids leak. And you want to shake it up really good. Okay. Dark place. Not pretty. Very pretty. Dark place, 4 weeks. Check it the first week or so, because I'm going to show you. If your plant matter is sticking out of the alcohol or comes up, some of it will float. But if it's sticking up, sticking up, top it off with a little more alcohol. Okay. You don't want anything to mold, especially if you use the fresh herbs. Okay, shake it up and put it away. Label it. 4 weeks. 4 weeks. Got it? And to our bread. I'm going to show you how to measure out flour, because I laugh every time one of my kids starts baking and they try to measure out flour. It blows my mind. It's like, okay, so there's 2 ways that I do it. Scoop it and then just scrape off the top. You don't pack it in there, or else I fluff it up and then scoop with my scoop and scrape off the top. And if you're learning from a grandma how to make a recipe, make her do it and watch her, because it's amazing how different everybody measures their flour. And those little tips and secrets, those are the things, that they do that they don't think they need to tell you, but it's funny. Like, do that. Okay, so we have 4 cups of flour, and to that we are going to add 2 teaspoons of salt. Just sprinkle it over the top, and 2 teaspoons of instant yeast. Okay, instant yeast. Okay, not the actual. Okay, look for instant yeast. It'll make it easier. And then I'm adding 1 teaspoon of garlic granules and 2 teaspoons of rosemary. So here's the spot where if you want to add olives or sun-dried tomatoes or cheese or whatever, you can add it here. If you want it mixed into the dough, okay, add it here. If you just want it on top, you can add it later. But since I'm just doing the garlic and the rosemary, I'm going to just mix it in. To this, we're adding 2 cups of water. Now, if you want it to be sweetened, because there's no sweetener in this, you can add 2 teaspoons of honey to the water. You could add 2 teaspoons of sugar, molasses, okay, whatever. Okay, add it to the water, then mix it in, okay? And we're just going to mix it till we get a nice dough. Now, I know I shorted myself on the water just because I always do a little bit. Don't ask me why, I just do, just to make sure, even when I make pizza dough. So I just added like a little, about a tablespoon, not even, see? And then I'll clean up my bowl. And so you just want to get a nice ball. You don't have to knead it or anything, okay? Just nice ball. I don't know why I'm still messing with this dough, but it's a little sticky, but it's okay because I know it wasn't mixed up very well, right? And so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to, what they call slicking it with olive oil. So just give it a little drizzle and then just smear the olive oil around, okay? We don't want it to dry out, just to give it a little extra. Okay, and here's where you have 2 options. You can either, 1, do the long raise, which is cover the bowl and put it in the fridge for 12 to 18 hours or up to 3 days, okay? Or if you don't want to do that long, let it raise for 2 hours. Then you proceed with the rest of the recipe after that and raise it for 30 minutes, okay? But we're going to do it in the fridge for 12 to 18 hours. Okay, and it is the next day. So you remove it from the fridge. We're going to remove the cover. I'm being very specific, ain't I? And what they call deflate it. But first I'm going to prep my pan, okay? You want a 9x13 cake pan, and you grease it with butter. This is how I grease my pan with butter, and it would have worked if I didn't have the plastic right there. Duh. Yeah, because I'm lazy. I mean, this is how you, okay, so if I had used a whole stick of butter, I would use the plastic, okay? But you're going to see, you need to really grease the pan. And then I was thinking you probably could bake it with parchment paper, which would make it a lot easier to remove. But for sake of purposes, butter the pan and then butter the sides. I didn't do the sides, so I'm going to give you a tip. Butter the sides. And then you put 1 tablespoon olive oil in there, and I just smeared it around. I tried that, and then I just smeared it around. Okay? Just get it all coated really good. And then you want to deflate your bread. Now, if you're really angry at somebody, you can punch it down. Make sure your hands are clean. Wash your hands, guys. Use my soap. Wash your hands. We're baking. Yeah, so you want to deflate it, punch it down, whatever, and then we're going to, I lost my notes. Oh. We're going to scrape it out of the bowl. It wasn't hard to get out. I was just wanting to scrape everything out, So you want to scrape it out of the bowl and put it into the pretty greased pan that we have. Okay? It smells amazing. The garlic and the rosemary in there smell amazing. The next time I do this, I am definitely adding olives. Definitely. Okay, and then when I'm done washing my hands, all I'm going to do is cover it with a paper towel. I'm going to cover it with a dish towel and leave it rise on the counter, whichever, and for 2 to 3 hours. If you're doing the short version and let it raise 2 hours, you're going to let it raise for 30 minutes here, okay? Okay, stop right here. No peeking at the dough till you preheat the oven to 425, okay? 425. It has to be preheated and ready to throw that pan in because you don't want it to raise again, okay? Okay, just want to make that straight. Now, if you didn't add herbs and stuff to it, you could do that now. You could add the rosemary to it. You could add the garlic to it if you wanted it on top. Okay, olives, sun-dried tomatoes, whatever. You could put it right on top right now if you didn't do it previously. Okay, so I'm skipping that part. And you want to put 2 tablespoons of olive oil over the top. I just guessed. That's me. I cook like my grandma. I cook like every woman who cooks. I just guessed. And this is the fun part. Make sure your hands are clean and you just press it down. Give it little fingerprint holes. And as you're pressing it down, push it to the edges so that it goes into all the edges really well. Okay? I can't remember what they called it. They had a word for it. Can't remember. And then you get to wash your hands again. And I'm going to sprinkle it with my Celtic sea salt. You can use any type of sea salt. You could use kosher salt because it's the bigger granules, you know. That's what you're going for. Or a flaky salt. Whichever salt you want. You could put Himalayan salt. You could put plain salt. Just salt it. Sprinkle it on there. Okay, salt it. And then, that's enough. That's enough, girl. Actually, it wasn't. It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. And then you want to throw it right away into the oven. Like, right away. And bake it for 20 to 25 minutes or till golden brown. Okay. And right away, so it's just out of the oven, you want to get it out of the pan. Okay, and this is why I said, yeah, grease the sides. And parchment paper, honestly, would make it easier to bake. 25 minutes was perfect in my oven. You know, you want to make sure it's done in golden brown. I do that because it wasn't coming. There was a spot that was sticking underneath for all the buttering I did. It was that corner right there. And, so you want to make sure it comes out and you want to put it on the cooling rack and let it cool. Okay? And then you, I got excited there. And then you want to cut it and eat it however you wish. I am making vegetable beef soup in the crock pot today. And so this is what we are having with supper is our focaccia bread. It was yummy. I had to steal a piece. That's the rule in our house. If you cook something, you have to eat the corner to make sure it's good for everybody else, right? That's how it goes. And there you go. Another episode of Tonya's Witchy Kitchen. Life with Spice, Rosemary. I hope you had a good time. Thank you for stopping by. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.